everybody, Joe on the go here. And today I want to talk to you about the Medicaid waiver. Now, there's all kinds of waivers out there, and I don't know everything about all these waivers. I just know a little bit, but I can't believe that some of the people that work in the field around these types of services don't know of all the resources that are out there. And so, like I said, I just know a little bit, but I'm hoping that I can kind of share some of my experiences with you with this kind of thing, and that you will be able just to kind of find the rest of the information on your own, and it will just kind of lead you down the right path to get to some of those resources that may help you. Now, I know from state to state that they all kind of have their own resources, own services. Not sure if it's called Medicaid in your state. I live in Indiana, so it might be a little different in your state. So there is a lot of changes coming up, and I was a little hesitant about going ahead and making this video because of all the changes. But then I thought, well, if I wait till they're not going to change anything on this, then I might never make this video, because they're always making changes to things. And sometimes when it comes to these types of resources and services, you could be on a waiting list for a little while. So I want to go ahead and put the information out there, despite some of the changes that may be coming up. They are saying at around August 1st, and that in 2027 they're going to completely do a whole overhaul of these resources and services. And partly the reason that they kind of have to relook at this thing and see if they need to make some changes to things is because these resources are out there for the people that actually need them. And unfortunately, we live in a world where sometimes people don't really need these resources, and they, are still kind of going after them, still trying to get those services, and that's really unfortunate, because it does make it harder on the people that do really need those services and depend on those services. So first, a little bit, I'm going to go into the subject of Medicaid. So Medicaid, as you may know, is a income-based insurance that you can go to the welfare office and get. So that's kind of what you would think, that you would go to the welfare office to talk to them about the Medicaid waiver. And there's no shame if you have Medicaid and it's income based. I mean, hey, everybody's, doing the best they can, hopefully. And, some of these services, almost, you need to have Medicaid with some of these services, or you may not be able to get them, or it may be a little bit harder for you to get some of these services. So, basically, in my experience, I heard of Medicaid waiver. Some people had told me when we had found out about our son's situation, he has a rare chromosome disorder. He's diagnosed as autistic, and he is pretty much nonverbal. And so when we had kind of found out about the situation, that we needed to go and check on this Medicaid waiver. So I went into the welfare office. They had no idea what I was talking about. They seemed like they absolutely had no idea what I was talking about. Of course, this was 20 years ago. So eventually our son starts what they called early childhood intervention, type of kind of preschool for children with special needs. And the teacher had mentioned this to us about the Medicaid waiver. So then she had kind of gotten us lined up with the right paperwork so we could get on the right road to being able to get signed up for the waiting list for these services. We were on the waiting list for several years to get these services. And now once he got approved, it was called a family supports waiver. There's all kinds of different waivers out there, but this is based on his needs, what he qualified for. So along with that, he has a caseworker that will touch base with us once a month, either through phone or email. And then we have a quarterly meeting about every 3 months to assess what his needs are, find out, what kind of services he may be requiring at that time. And there's a whole list of services the Medicaid waiver can help with. Usually they will give you a budget, a allotted amount of units that is converted into kind of like, monies that can be spent on different services. Some are cost more and some cost less. So you can put it all on one thing, or you can kind of divide it up amongst a few things. Some people use music therapy, behavioral health, that kind of thing. They also have PAC hours, respite hours, it's kind of several other services. And kind of what PAC and respite hours are is you can use those, that basically they will line you up with a company. They'll give you a pick list, and you pick a company off of that pick list, and then they will send someone over for you to meet, see if you are comfortable with that person sitting with your child. And you can use some of those waiver hours for them to be able to sit with your child, either way, while you go work a few hours, or you just need to go to the grocery store, or take a shower, whatever that might be. So another thing is, you currently at this time as the parent cannot do any of those hours as long as your child is under the age of 18 years old. Once they turn 18 years old, you can then at that point be hired with that company, assuming you have a clean background. You can be hired with that company, and then you can either do all or some of those hours depending on your situation. And some people are like, hey, I really want the help. I really need somebody to come over because I can't get this done or that done without someone coming over. And some people are like, hey, it's really hard for me to hold a full-time job. There's this medical situation, or he or she does this or does that, and so it's really, really hard for me to be able to get out and kind of work full-time on my own. There's all type of different situations, so it's just kind of whatever works the best for you. And like I said, maybe you're not interested in PAC or respite hours. Maybe you're not interested in anything of that nature. But they have other services. Another thing I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about, just because you can use these units, these hours for this as well, is adult day service programs. So you can take all or some, whatever's needed, whatever you're going to use, and you can choose to send your loved one to an adult day service, which is usually a establishment that has other special needs people. They work on tasks like daily living, making beds, folding laundry, cooking. They also do fun stuff. They do outings and play games and, crafts and that kind of thing. So, that's also something that you can use those hours on. I knew of a couple mothers that started one of the ones in the area we live in, and then heard about another one. What I would suggest, a way to find out where the adult day services in your area may be, it's just kind of maybe Google, look on the computer and see maybe, adult day service programs near me. And so I hope this was helpful. I know this does not apply to everybody out there, but that's one thing that's really been set on my heart when I decided to start making videos, and I enjoy making videos. Of course, going out and doing fun things, that's a little more enjoyable videos, but this is just some information that I wanted to get out. I wanted to share with everyone. So that way, if even one person is out there and they see this information and it helps them, and they don't have to go years and years and struggle and not know that this help is available to them out there, then it was worth making this video. So that video was made for you. If you are seeing this and this helped you, I am so glad. And if it helps one person. So, hey, remember that everyone's special, and that some people are fighting a battle that you know nothing about, and we don't all have all the answers. We're just doing the best we can and trying to get through life between work and happiness and enjoyment and spending time with loved ones. Take care of yourself. Be kind to one another. And put love and positivity into the world. And until you go with me next time, and I have something fun planned for next time. We're going to go out. But until you go with me next time, peace and love.